I wanted to just mention very briefly this past Shabbos, Klal Yisrael lost one of its most famous members, Mr. Ellie Wiesel, Lezer ben Shloime. And, I never knew much about Mr. Wiesel. I knew he wrote about the Holocaust and that he won the Nobel Peace Prize. Often he was just seen as to most of us and from world, we didn't know much about him. We thought he was, just someone, the typical left-wing Jew, something. We didn't know who he was. And then I remember he came to speak at Queen's College. I was at the time in yeshiva a few blocks away. And me and another bacher, who's now also is a rabbi, a very distinguished rabbi, the two of us, we walked over, maybe even three of us, another bacher, also very chashuv in Geman, Talmud Chacham, also smicha. I don't remember if it's two or three of us. We walked to Queen's College to go hear Ellie Wiesel. And first of all, we noticed he's wearing a yarmulke, which was very nice. And then we listened to his lecture. I'm sure it was just a typical lecture he gave often. A very mixed crowd there. And remember, at one point in the lecture, he quotes the Kotzker Rebbe, and he describes the Hasidic rabbi from Poland, very famous, very great, a great holy man, and very famous for his sharp wit and things. It's of course an understatement, but that's what. And then we thought it was so endearing. Then he quoted something, I think it was in Parshas Vayetze, I'm not sure, about Yaakov Avinu, and he quotes Rashi, but Rashi didn't even have to explain. He didn't feel he had to explain Rashi. He just said, and Rashi says. He didn't explain Rashi. He just said, Rashi says. And us, we were there listening. It was so endearing to hear. He was a Hamish Yid, and I found out, he was very proud of his Hasidic background. When we were all in line to go greet him, give Shalom Aleichem, and I was dressed in a Hasidic levush, and he was so happy. The smile on his face to see a Hasidic bacher coming to listen to him speak, it was so visible on his face, the nachas that he had. And later I found out more about him. He wrote books about Hasidus, about the Rebbes, wonderful books, and I realized he wasn't just a Holocaust person. He was some exemplified living Yiddishkeit. He would meet different tzaddikim. He always would, he went to Lubavitcher Rebbe once. He always said, Rebbe, aber ich bin a Vishnitzer Chassid. He didn't forget. He said, I'm coming to you, Lubavitcher Rebbe, I'm still a Vishnitzer Chassid, And he was very close with the Ungvar Rav, with the very great tzaddik and poisik, Menashe Klein, is a Chassid Galeno, who I remember meeting once. So here was, we didn't realize, that he was a real Hamish Yid. And now I read that Ezra Friedlander, the Lisker Rebbe's son, he's very active in politics and things, that he went to visit Ellie Wiesel not too long ago, and Rebbe Ellie said, every day when I put on tefillin, I remember I'm a Vishnitzer Chassid, meaning I didn't realize. Now I'm reading after his nifter, he was a Yid, put on tefillin every day, davened, wore a yarmulke. He wasn't just proud to be a Jew, like so many people who admire him, think of what it means to be a Jew. He practiced Judaism. He was a faithful, real Hamish Yid all his life, and he was a man who had emunah and betochen. Even when he had sfeikus, he realized that a lot of people, they're upset that he writes that when he was a bacher he had sfeikus, because what bachrim don't have sfeikus? What bachrim even in the most Hamish yeshivas today don't have sfeikus? Can you imagine what he went through? that anyone would dare question that he had sfekas, but he got over it. He wasn't just a Holocaust guy, he was a living Yiddishkeit Yid, and he remained a Yid all his life in the authentic way, putting on tefillin, davening, being a Yid. That's what it's supposed to be. That's so beautiful, and so then I understand better now. Reading about the tributes that people are giving to him now. What I saw, that brief moment that I shook hands with this man who left such an impact on the whole world, that smile that he had to see, who am I? I'm nobody. I'm just noch gemacht. But that to see a tzura of a Chassidish Bacher, I don't live up to it. But maybe I was a little bit better then as a Bacher. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But that he saw that tzura of a Yid with the levush, the payas, and the hat, and the rekel coming to see him, the nachas that he had from it really spoke about who he really was, and so it means a lot to me that Baruch Hashem, for a brief moment, our paths crossed, and I hadn't thought much about it. It's over 10 years ago, I think. But now I realize the significance, and I'm thankful to Kadosh Baruch Hu that there was such a Yid in the Klal Yisrael, and we wish his mishpacha, the whole Klal Yisrael, really his mishpacha in a sense, to have nechamas, to have true nechama, and we should see him again by Tchisa Mesim.